Alright lads, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Tusk dev server vehicles, what's new and if they are going to be any good. Starting out we have the B-66B bomber. This is obviously coming in the American tech tree. It is located in rank 6, following on from the B-57. It sits at battle rating 9.0, it has no defensive countermeasures, and its only form of self-defense is a blister turret at the rear of the vehicle. These are, however, 20mm cannons, so should be pretty potent. In terms of internal payload, you have two options. You can take 14 £750 bombs or 4 £3,000 bombs. Apart from being a rather cool addition, it's always good to see jet bombers in War Thunder. I don't really think this is going to be that useful in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it's pretty good in ground realistic for dropping £3,000 bombs on anyone, but I don't think it's going to be doing anything in realistic. New for the US ground forces is the M55 self-propelled howitzer. This sits at battle rating 4.0 and is sitting in the 3rd rank of the US tech tree, following on from the M44. At the time of recording, there is only one shell available, which is the M106. This can penetrate 65mm of armour with its explosive blast, making it pretty potent if you hit the upper part of a tank and can splash down onto that very weak turret roof armour. The round itself is pretty potent with a muzzle velocity of just under 600 meters per second, making it pretty easy to aim at average distances. The only downside though, as you can see, is the very long reload speed. Compared to the M44, which can reload at a minimum time of 15 seconds, the M55's reload with an ace crew is 29.9 seconds, so just under double the speed of the M44. The M107 round fired by the M44 is only 4mm less powerful in terms of explosive armor penetration, so to me the double the time reload just isn't really worth it to me. You're better off just sticking with the M44 in my opinion, which is already known for absolutely bullying Tiger players at any battle rating. So the M55 for me, nice to add to the game, but not really going to be meta changing. Did you want another American premium? Well, Gaijin seems that you do. This is the T58. This is the hull of the M103 with the gun from the T30, fitted with an auto-loading system in quite a funky oscillating turret. If I remember correctly, this is coming in at about $60 on the pre-order on the Gaijin store. As you can see, it is a rank 5 premium at battle rating 8.0 at the time of recording. Although the T58 uses a very powerful gun, at the time of recording it doesn't really have any ammunition that rely on a large amount of muzzle velocity, only having the T267 heat shell, which can penetrate 406mm of armour, as well as the T152, which is a HESH shell, with a very, very good 200mm of explosive penetration, but a terrible muzzle velocity of 259 meters per second. The reload on this tank is very good at just over 3 seconds, making it very effective for taking out multiple enemies very quickly. This does have an auto-loader ready rack of only 6 rounds, so you are going to burn through that ammunition quite quickly. I'd say that this tank isn't really worth it at the minute in terms of actual grinder. I don't really know why they don't have like a regular HE shell as well as an AP HE shell. I think that would be a much better fit for this vehicle. The heater fest doesn't really need a high power cannon in my opinion. It's a heat shell, it doesn't really matter other than having a large diameter. But if you are going to be spending over $70 on a premium, you may as well just get the clickbait. The United States is also getting an export vehicle this update. Well, it was made for export. This is the Stingray. It's currently located just after the M3 Bradley and sits at a battle rating of 9.3 in the 6th rank of the US tech tree. The Stingray does not have an autoloader system, instead having a basic loader like most tanks in game. It also gets the very potent DM33 Sabo round with over 420mm of penetration, but it does not feature any sort of night vision or thermal imager at the time of recording. The American battle rating 9.3 lineup is very potent at the minute, with the XM803, the MBT70, as well as the XM1 if you own it. The Stingray is also a nice addition if you didn't manage to get yourself the CCVL, the XM8, or the AGS, as it is kind of a fast, lightweight, hard-hitting light tank, something that previously would only be achievable to get off the Gaijin marketplace. So a nice addition in my opinion. We're also getting a new American helicopter, not really something that I thought was necessary. The Americans are already brimmed to the top full of helicopters that don't really need to be added, to be honest. As you can see, the AH-64E is following on from the AH-64D, and it sits at battle rating 12.3. What makes this Apache unique is the addition of the AGM-179 JAGM MR. You can think of these basically as slower versions of the Hellfire, but instead of using a laser designator seeker or a semi-active laser type thing, it uses an IR seeker, basically IR fire and forget missiles, kind of like the AGM-65Ds, but obviously on a helicopter. For American naval connoisseurs, you are also getting a premium battleship. This is the USS Maryland, part of the Colorado class of battleships. These were the first American ships, I think, to get 16-inch guns, and you have 8 guns split across 4 turrets, so 2 guns per turret. This is of course a rank 6 premium, meaning you can grind out every single American ship in the game at the minute. And it is of course a sister ship of the USS Colorado, also found in the tech tree, so you could play this vehicle for free if you wanted, but bear in mind that the Maryland does get substantially better anti-air defense guns, as it is the 1945 variant, whereas the USS Colorado is the 1942 variant. The shells fired by the Maryland are pretty good, to be honest, but it is let down, like most other American battleships, by its below average fire rate of, it can fire every 40 seconds with an ace crew. The average is around 30 seconds, so you really are at a major disadvantage by playing Americans. I have no idea why Gaijin gives every American battleship a 40-second reload. It's not really historical, to be honest. Finally, for the Americans, we have the USS Charles F. Adams. This vehicle is fitted with 2 of the post-war 5-inch 54 cannons. They are very rapid-firing guns. They also have some pretty potent ammunition as well. The main selling point of the ship, though, is going to be the standard missile launcher on the back of the vehicle. This can be used against aircraft because it has a proximity fuse warhead, and it's also very potent against destroyers that you will find in the lower ranks of naval, making it a very good all-rounder, especially for its battle rating of 5.3. These missiles are also present on the USS Douglas, which is a premium, but unlike that ship, you do get a large amount of the standard missiles to fire, being able to take 42 into a battle, which does give you quite a hefty magazine of those advanced missiles. Germany isn't really getting that much this update. We've got a copy and paste M55, which we already covered in the Americans, so I'm not really going to say that much about it. But we do have the BF-109T2. This is a battle rating 3.0 premium located in the 2nd rank of the German tech tree, which means you will not be able to use it for grinding out any events, because it is not rank 3. The BF-109T was a variant intended to be used on the German carrier, so this variant does have slightly lengthened wings, giving it better low altitude, low speed turning performance, but it does obviously compromise it a little bit at the high speed, high altitude where the BF-109 was designed to excel. That being said, it is basically just a BF-109E. You've got the very good MGFF/Ms with the very potent Mine-Shot round. So it should be a nice little premium, especially for the cost of about 1,500 GE. For the Soviets, we're going to start with the BMD-4M2. This is following on from the BMP-3, and it is located in the 6th rank of the Soviet tech tree at a battle rating of 9.7. For all intents and purposes, this is a copy and paste of the premium BMD-4M, just minus the additional applique armor on this side of the vehicle. We then come on to the most effective anti-aircraft system in War Thunder, so the Soviets kind of get all the best toys at the minute. This is of course the 9K317M Buck M3. This is a heavily modernised version of the SA-11, which itself was a modernisation of the SA-6. This is located in the 8th rank of the Soviet tech tree, following on from the Pantsir S1. The missile it fires it has inertial navigation, so command and guidance initially. It then switches over to active radar homing when it's on final approach to a target. So you have the very large search radar here. If we then press our Alt key, you can see that we do get the TELAR as well. So if you go like this, that missile is going, and smack it. Kind of the same with every other SAM missile in the game, but these are very, very effective due to their active radar homing status. Finally, for the Soviets, we have a squadron helicopter in the form of the Mi-35P. This is a rank 7 helicopter, obviously in the squadron section over here. It's kind of unique for a Soviet helicopter as it is an Mi-35 that can carry the Vikia missile. This gives you a good balance of air-to-ground and air-to-air, as the Vickers, of course, can be used against enemy aircraft or helicopters, as they do have a proximity fuse warhead. Like the Americans, the Soviets aren't really short of helicopters, so while it is nice to have a squadron vehicle for the Soviets, wasn't really needed in my opinion, but nonetheless nice to have. So the British dispatch are getting a lot of copy and paste, but to start we have the Ram-1. This is coming in at a whopping battle rating 3.0, which is laughable for reasons I'll show you in just a second. It's coming in rank 2 after the Crusader Mark II and Mark III, just here. This tank is armed with the 40mm quick-firing 2-pounder, which essentially is a reserve tier weapon. As you can see, it can only penetrate 66mm of armor with its AP-HE shell, which is laughably bad at this battle rating of 3.0. It does have a solid shot AP round with 89mm of penetration, but this thing is going to get up tier to 4.0. It's going to face the mid-war T-34s, and it's going to get absolutely knobbed on. Like the Soviets, the British are also getting an advanced anti-air system this patch. This is the Sky Sabre. It's following on from the ADATs in the 8th rank of the British tech tree, and you can choose between the CAM and the CAM-ER missile. Like the Buck M3, these are active radar homing missiles, but if you notice at their maximum speed, it is roughly 50% lower or 33% lower compared to the Buck, at only 1028 meters per second compared to the nearly 1600 of the Buck. Britain is also getting several copy and paste FA-18 Hornets this update. As you can imagine, this is coming in at battle rating 12.7 in the 8th rank of the British tech tree, meaning they probably are going to remove the Bison from sale soon. This comes equipped basically the exact same as the American and German premium copy and paste. It comes with AIM-9Ls as well as the AIM-7P Sparrow. We also get 2 Australian Hornets. This is the FA-18A and the FA-18A Late. The difference is one of them has AMRAAMs, the other just has AIM-7Ms, I believe. Kind of again copy and pasted from the American tech tree to the German tech tree and now to the British tech tree. And finally we have another copy and paste vehicle, kind of. This is the HMS Nelson. It's coming in at battle rating 7.7, and it is of course the sister ship to HMS Rodney. The Premium Nelson is the 1945 variant, which means it will get better fire control systems, as well as better anti-air defense measures, mainly more guns, in the form of Bofors L60s. We then come on to the Japanese tech tree, which in many ways is the main benefactor of this update. We're getting quite a lot of new vehicles, both ground and air, as well as helicopters as well. So the first vehicle is the M163. This is filling a gap after the Sub-1-2. It is in the 5th rank of the Japanese tech tree, and it is just before the Type 87. Not really going to cover this vehicle as it's been in the game for over 5 years now in various tech trees. The Japanese are also getting the M60A3 text-to-speech. This gets DM33, 1st gen thermal imager and a laser rangefinder, making it very, very potent when it is hull down and at medium to long range. The TTS is coming as its own new sub-tech tree variant, basically in rank 6, so there is nothing that you need to grind in order to start grinding this vehicle. Following on from the TTS, we have the Stingray. This is essentially identical to the one found in the American tech tree. It has DM33 in the rank 4 upgrade, making it a very potent, fast-firing gun at battle rating 9.3. It follows on from the TTS, as you can imagine, so it stays in rank 6. At the end of the tie sub-tech tree for the Japanese is the BM Oplot T. This is based on the T80UD. You can tell because it uses the 6 TDF engine, opposed piston, 12 cylinders, and it does also have the upgraded transmission, giving you 69 km per hour going forwards and 32 km per hour in reverse. This is the main selling point of this update in my opinion. It gives the Japanese tech tree something that has a little bit of armor. As you know, if you have played the Japanese top tier, these things are basically glass cannons. Very, very good firepower, 4-second reload, but they have no sort of survivability whatsoever. The BMP Oplot should change that. It should give you far more survivability at the expense of a much longer reload. The Oplot does have a very interesting ERA package. It says armoured glass here. I'm not really too sure what they mean by that. Maybe kind of like ceramic, where it like shatters, kind of maybe. It does also get the Storer protective system. I guess it's called Varta. As you can see, it does have a very, very substantial explosive reactive armour add-on kit. So it should be pretty much immune to any incoming chemical munitions. It also gets the Chinese BTA-4 Sabre round. The Ukrainians didn't produce anything better than 3BM42 Mango, which is a limiting factor of the modern Ukrainian army at the minute. But because this was a Thai vehicle and they bought Chinese weapons for it, you do get a very potent 552mm of penetration with your BTA-4 round. Another copy and paste vehicle, we have another Mi-35. While the Japanese helicopter branch did lack a lot of diversity, I'm not really too sure the Mi-35 was the right choice, to be honest. This tank can bring along 8 Sturm missiles for air-to-ground work. These aren't the best though. They do have better range than the TOWs with 5 kilometers, so like 1.25 kilometers additional range compared to the TOW missiles fired by the AH-1 Cobras. And they do have a pretty good speed as well with 550 meters per second. The problem is it's a lot of grinding out just to get this. I don't think Japan also has a very potent 9.7 lineup. Guess you do have the RCVs, but you kind of want to be sticking to 9.3 if you can with the Stingray, the Type 93, and then these two vehicles. So 9.7 to me doesn't really have a lineup, especially as your two premium grinders are 9.3. There isn't really a 9.7 lineup, in my opinion. Finally for the Japanese, and we have the F5TH TCU. This vehicle is kind of pointless in my opinion. The main selling point of this vehicle is going to be the ability to carry up to 2 derbies, as well as your choice between Python 3s or AIM 9Ms. Speaking of which, it does have some pretty potent air-to-ground munitions, so maybe this is going to be a plane that excels in ground realistic backing up your ground loadout, because you can take out 4 AGM-65Ds. I think you can take a targeting pod as well, which I think makes it one of the lower battle rating Japanese vehicles that can take a very potent air-to-ground loadout, but I'm very, very skeptical about its performance in air realistic. I don't think it's going to do too well whatsoever. The Chinese are also getting the M55. We've already covered this for both Germany and the USA. It's coming after the M10 GMC, but that's all I'm going to say about this vehicle. China is also getting the VT4. This is following on from the MBT 2000 and is basically a less modernized variant of the VT4A1 we already have in the Chinese tech tree. The main difference between this and the end of the line VT4A1 is the lack of the IR dazzlers and the active protective system, which doesn't really help the tank that much in my opinion, unless it is facing like a helicopter, because no one's really firing heat FS at this top tier now. The tank itself though does have the potent DTC-10 round with 570mm of penetration. Got a very good fire rate, good mobility, good armor protection. It's a nice solid addition to the Chinese tech tree. But why this isn't folded with the MBT 2000, considering they're basically exactly the same vehicle, just one is for export I believe. Finally, for the Chinese, we have the Qing 6 or Qing. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'll probably get struck for racism if I do a accent. But it is basically the BE6. So it's a Chinese copy of a Soviet copy, I believe. It was originally an American plane. This is coming in the 4th rank of the Chinese tech tree, and it sits at a battle rating of 5.0. In terms of its air-to-ground ordnance, you have 2 torpedoes, a set of incendiary bombs, as well as your choice between 250 kilo, 500 kilo, and 1,500 kilo bombs. Considering China doesn't have any naval vehicles in the game in the minute, I don't really see a point to purchasing this vehicle. In realistic, it's just going to be incredibly slow flying and easy kills, although it does have those very potent 23mm cannons. But even still, I don't really see a point to buy this vehicle. No one really likes grinding as bombers, especially slow, lumbering, big, easy target bombers, so I'd probably give this a miss, to be honest. The Italians also get the M55. For some strange reason, the Italian M55 doesn't follow on from the M44. Instead, it follows on from the M43 100/25. And it is, of course, a battle rating 4.0 vehicle in the 3rd rank of the Italian tech tree. We then have the new Italian top-tier air defense system. The automatic can finally be substantially reduced in battle rating. They've refused to change its battle rating because then they'd have had to add a top-tier air defense system for Italy. So the stupid automatic that shouldn't be 11.3 at all can finally go down to where it belongs, somewhere much lower, because the SAMT is here and ready to play. This is battle rating 12.0, located after the automatic in the 8th rank of the Italian tech tree. As you can see, this uses the Aster 30, which is I believe this is used by several NATO countries in the destroyer fleets. It's like a medium-range anti-air missile. Very, very potent active radar homing missile. Like the Buk M3, it has a maximum speed of about 1500 meters per second, making it very, very fast indeed. It's essentially the same as every other radar air defense system, so I'm not going to show it in action, but it's a very, very nice vehicle. It kills the automatic, which is something that I'm always in favouring. Would you believe it? The French also get an M55. This one does follow on from the M44 in the French tech tree, putting it at battle rating 4.0 and also rank 3. The French also get a variant of the SAMP-T or SAMP-T. This is exactly the same missile and vehicle as found in the Italian tech tree. Finally, for the French, we have a new squadron vehicle. This is the F-16A OCU. This is coming in at battle rating 12.7 in realistic, and it's currently in rank 8 of the French tech tree as a squadron vehicle. This is the only F-16 in the game, I think, that gets access to the Magic 2s, so you can take the incredibly potent Fox 2 missile on an F-16 platform. Also worth bearing in mind, that if you do choose to take the Magic 2s, you can only take 2 of them on the outer wing pylons. The inner wing pylon, for some reason, at least at the time of recording, cannot be used to take the Magic 2. We can bring along the AS-30L Nord air-to-ground missile. That is really your only air-to-ground loadout here. You've just got very, very good air-to-air missiles and randomly just 2 AS-30Ls. I'm not sure whether this is because Gaijin hasn't given it its full loadout yet, or whether the Belgians just really, really like the AS-30Ls. That remains to be seen. If you're a long-term War Thunder player, you may remember this vehicle. It is the CV90-105 TML. This was the original premium top tier for the Swedish tech tree. This tank does get good thermal images, but it doesn't have a laser rangefinder. But it's a good vehicle. It's a nice addition. I'm guessing they kind of just had it. They had the model already made, so they just added it to the tech tree. It's good on them, really, for not adding it as like some sort of premium or event vehicle. The Swedish tech tree is also getting 3 new versions of the Mosquito. These are all located at battle rating 3.7 and are all in rank 3. And then finally for this video and for this update is going to be the F-16I Super. This is kind of a modification to the F-16D already in the Israeli tech tree. As you can see, this is a air-to-ground kind of configuration for the F-16. then yeah, I don't really know what all these new things are. A lot of it is just copy and paste from existing American aircraft. But as you can see, it does have conformal fuel tanks, which I guess is the unique thing about this. It makes the plane look hideous though, in my opinion. So I'm not really too sure why you'd want to use it, especially in War Thunder, where you better just take in drop tanks underneath. Obviously, if the conformal fuel tanks are empty, it still causes more drag. So you may as well always just take a drop tank and just drop it when you've done with it, rather than carrying the conformal fuel tanks. Anyway, lads, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.